You never say anything? You want to say anything?
I was watching one movie yesterday and it was about Egypt and ancient times and so. And the guy he was like different like others and he had this question, why? So I also have this question, why? Why we are here, why it's all happening,
Yeah. Sorry?
Why the whole experience?
Why the whole experience,
yeah,
right?
Why he was like, and he didn't get the answer, so do you have something?
Just to have the context, what has it has nothing particularly to do with old Egypt. Your question. You said something about...
No, generally, why we are here, why we have to go through all those not so good experiences, why this world is as it is, which is not a very happy place.
Yes.
So, why like that?
Right. No, this world is not a very easy, very happy place, but actually this world is perfect.
It doesn't feel always like that.
It's not perfect on its relative level, obviously not. I mean, there's a lot of so much of not perfect stuff happen. Actually, there is no such thing like perfection on the material level. Everything can always be a little better. No, it's the perfect place for consciousness to learn and to grow and to outgrow that state. This magic, this mysterious connection of consciousness, of the life force, of matter, that produces this psychophysical manifestation is a perfect situation that something is very precious, is accumulated. And everybody does accumulate. Everybody who comes into this world goes out of this world much richer. Even if they don't have a one spiritual thought in their whole life, they live the just totally ordinary average life, just because of the continuous effort of living. Every morning the story starts again. Every morning we have to get up again. Everything is an effort. We have to push ourselves, get up, get ready for the day, leave the day. There's that continuous tension between pleasant, unpleasant, pleasant, unpleasant. You know that something extremely precious is accumulated. And everybody does accumulate. And everybody who comes to this world is getting out richer. We may lose our mind. Elderly people, sometimes you feel, oh my God, what's the point of their life? At the end they are just more like vegetables. Somebody who has complete Alzheimer don't even remember their own children. But that which has been accumulated is not getting lost. Superficially we may lose it completely, lose everything. But that precious part that is stored and is with you when you get out of this life. You are not the person you think you are. You are a being which is only sort of projecting itself as this person on this level. But you as a being are never really completely incarnated. And you as that being have decided to project yourself on this level. And then somehow, unfortunately, we create that idea that we are that projection, and that becomes independent and are caught up in it, and there we feel a lot of pain and a lot of struggle. But you, what you are, is not limited by that, and your being will drive you on and on again through through this story, even if you as a person you are tired and fed up and you don't want anymore, because something very, very precious is accumulating, getting richer for the experience. Now, as long as we are going completely identified with that role through our life, it's a very painful business. It's a drag. We hit our head always left and right. People go through their life half asleep, and then there are moments of intensity. When there is a moment of joy, there is intensity. When there is a moment of fear, there is intensity. When there is something very bad happening, there is intensity. But most of the time they are very short-lived, like peaks. Then they come down again and somehow more survive till the next peak. And so, still, those intense moments are there, still something very precious gets accumulated, but most of the time it's a very painful business. It's painful because somehow some friction has happened and we have identified with that person, that role, that projection. The person is just a role we are playing in the theater of this world. And if you learn to become aware of that again, if you learn to bring your attention back to yourself, then your attention sinks away more and more back into your being, where there is no suffering. And then you, on the surface, playfully can go through that life. And when you bring your attention to the present and connect, there is intensity. And so the more you live like this, the more it's worth to live. The more you accumulate something that is very precious, that even when that life is finished, it's still there. Whatever we accumulate on this level, in one moment it's gone. We can get richer and richer and richer and richer. One moment, whole story is gone, nothing left. But that wealth, your real wealth, is with you. But not with you as a person, but with you as a being. I'm not saying I know all the details. Why? What is this world about? But what I know from my own experience is enough that it's worth the trouble, that it makes totally sense to go through it. But we don't have to go through it painfully. We can learn to dive with our attention in our own being. The more you do that, the more you are basically peaceful. And eventually your attention will go in so deep that you don't lose that touch anymore. And then life still goes on, but then life becomes what it is meant to be. Playful, joyous journey through this crazy world, getting richer for the experience with every moment. Essentially, you are one. And so Advaita says it's all one. Right, it's true. Essentially, all is one. And yet in that all oneness, there is also multiplicity. It's no teaching is simply telling what is. The two Indian traditions that seem to be so completely contradictory. The one that says all is the same, all is one, you seem to fall out and then you struggle hell and then you finally end up where you started. It's all one and finally nothing really has happened. And the other tradition is that there is a being, there is something unfolding and evolving. And they seem to be totally contradictory, and they are not. They are
Они
both true.
противоречат друг другу.
The essence is the essence, and you remain that essence. And if you are capable of connecting your attention with your essence, you are at ease, you are at peace. And yet, still, something in that all oneness, there are the myriads and myriads of beings. And each being is basically connected with all what there is. And yet, that there is something unique and beautiful to each being. And that experience will keep on unfolding and unfolding and unfolding. And living a human life in this world is very, very beneficial for that. You are accumulating a lot. You can also evolve in many other places, many much more pleasant places than this one, but it's also more like a holiday place. It's really, this world is not a holiday place. It's a working camp. Whether you like it or not, everything is always an effort. You cannot avoid an effort. Just to be alive, just to live your daily life, it's continuously at least little efforts you have to make. But those efforts become a drag only when we are always resisting. If you stop resisting, then you simply make those efforts playfully. Everybody knows to make efforts playfully. People, they work, and then for recreation, what are they going? They are going jogging in the forest or swimming, and they make efforts and think, that's the relaxation. There they don't, when they like to make the effort, they don't resent making the effort. It's simply when they have to go through your daily life, they resent the effort. But everybody knows making effort, having fun, going out, having fun, making efforts to feel good. But then somehow, basically, there is often such a resentment of making efforts, of making all the little efforts day after day, just that are necessary to go through our daily life. If we stop resisting that, then we can live our life like somebody who is going swimming for the pleasure of it. It's still an effort, but you don't resent it, so you don't think it's making you unhappy. But you cannot just say, okay, I'm not making an effort. Then try to sit in one place, it's becoming quite an effort just to sit there, not do anything. This world is a working camp. But if we don't resist the fact, if we play along with it, then even in this crazy world we can go about it playfully and happily. However crazy it looks on its own relative level, looking what's going on in the world, look how much pain is there, how much suffering is there, how much people are meaninglessly hurting each other all the time. You can think this is absolute meaningless nonsense, but it's not.